start recording. It shows that my mic is on, so hopefully you'll have audio. All right, so just to start quickly, I'm gonna do a box, and then down here, I'm gonna give it some subdivisions, so 5 by 5 by 5. There, I'll turn on the wireframe, so I'm just dealing with this box. I want to do a little bit of deformation on it. So I'll go in, do a nonlinear bend, like that. I go down, select my bend, change the curvature to something a bit more interesting. So, and any part that you guys had any questions, please stop me and ask. Okay, so let's say something like that is the geometry. Always make sure that if you are sure about what you're doing, you go back and delete your history, so that it gives you more freedom for future edits. For now, I'm gonna just move a few things here and there, make it a bit more complicated, maybe not. Okay, so let's say that's the geometry I'm dealing with. The other thing that is good to do is maybe to do select my faces, select the whole thing, shift right click. I'm looking for the multi-cut tool, and then holding control, I can do a loop, or I can do an angle, and then I will go select and delete these guys that I'm not seeing really here. Okay, that's that, delete that. Okay. And then at the end, we're going to cap the hole and use this as our geometry. Okay, there. Then I'll go to the edge tool, select two of the edges, do a bridge between them to connect them, and then double click on this edge will give me the parameter. Shift right click, I would fill that hole, and then here shift right click, I would fill the other hole, and then that is kind of a weird situation there, which is fine. One last thing, I think I'll go to my object mode and deform using the lattice, selecting the lattice points, maybe getting them and moving them really back just to make it a little bit more irregular. And those guys will go up. Okay, I guess we're good. I will do edit, delete by type, and delete my history. Now I've got this geometry to work with. So first of all, when you have your geometry, whatever it is, make sure it's as clean as possible. All the edges are defined. So using the multi-cut tool, you can cut anything that is not there and you want to add. Or if you have your faces selected, you can shift right click and you can do triangulate faces, so you can get a bit more triangulation, and then in between these edges you can decide which ones you want to delete and which ones you want to keep. So do a bit of thinking on what your geometry really is and how you want to deal with that. And now you can see at the end of the tail it's doing something weird, so just to avoid issues in the future, I'm gonna get rid of that piece, and it looks cleaner now. So it should be all good. So the first step is to select the object and export. So if I have this object selected and I go to File and do Export Selection, it will give me a few different options. So again, I can say I want to save it on my desktop. Oops, where is the desktop? Okay, I'll just save it in my documents. And then I can pick what is the file type I want to work with. So right now here I've got the OBJ export. You may not have it because it's a plugin in Maya. I'll show you how to turn it on and off. Both OBJ and FBX, just for the future reference, because probably you will need it. So if you go under Windows, Setting and Preferences, you have this plugin manager thing that you can select. So again, under Windows, Setting and Preferences, Plugin Manager. And there you will see the list of all the plugins you can load into your Maya. And that would include right there's an OBJ export. The loaded and auto load should be checked. There's also an FBX plugin that is there. So FBX Maya, you could also load and auto load that into your thing. So OBJ exported and FBX Maya are the things you want to load into your Maya. Then if it's not showing up, you will see your OBJ exporter here and FBX exporter, so you can export using those two things. So we're gonna export our geometry to use into 123D Make and Rhino. Usually Rhino exports and imports everything, so that's not a big concern. But 123D Make only reads STL files and OBJ files. So I'm gonna use OBJ, and because it's a good extension. It's file type, it's clean, and those my Rhino and 123D Make can read it. So I exported that. I'm all done with Maya for now. 123D is this that I'm gonna go to. But first of all, I want to show you a little bit of Rhino. You guys, I've been told that you guys know how to use Rhino and a few things in Grasshopper. So based on that, I'm just gonna quickly show you how to do you guys know about how to unroll a surface in Rhino? No? Yes? Yes or no? One of them should be probably the answer.
No, they don't.
That's the answer. Okay, so I want to import an OBJ file in my documents, and it's not showing up for some reason. Okay, this is Alex's computer. I'm just gonna go to drive C and export it again there to be safe. Thanks for the permission, Alex. So drive C, I'll put the test OBJ there. Can I save the file? Why? All right, export all, OBJ, drive C, test. Why is this doing that? Okay, doesn't let me export. It may be that there is issues with my model, which I don't think so.
If you go on the 123D Make,
yeah,
you had that name written, so if it was asking for the name.
No, it gives me an error for exporting from Maya.
But you export first time, which worked?
No, it didn't. No, I think it gave me error all the time. Anyways, I'm gonna just try cleaning the mesh, see if that helps. This is one of those things. Okay, I'm gonna make a new folder too. Just need one. Okay, exported. It has been a weird thing. Anyways, so I've saved it there. So I've got my OBJ. I'll open there. The geometry is there. So again, the same issue we have talked about several times. Z-axis and Y-axis, which one is up? That's why this is rotated. But since we're talking about fabrication, it doesn't really matter at this point. So the tool I want to show you guys here is the unrolled surface. But first of all, as you can see, I've got my object selected and it shows that it's a closed mesh. I don't really want it to be mesh. I want it to be NURB surfaces. So if you guys know this tool over here that is mesh from a surface, if you right click on that, it does a surface from a mesh. So this tool over here, mesh from surface, I'll just right click on it. Now it has generated a closed poly surface for me. That is what I was looking for. So I can just go back and delete my mesh. Now I'm selecting my closed surface poly. There may be too many tessellations on the geometry. That may be a little bit tricky for the fabrication, but because I think a lot of you will be dealing with this, it's a good example to show. Then you would just type in unroll surface here, and then it will show you a few tools, a few options. So explode means that you will get a result that is all the triangles in your geometry, which is a good thing if your geometry is not really constructible in folding format. But if you want to do some folding, it's good to say no to explode so you can get a bigger surface. Labels, it should be on so that you can see what goes where. And then keep the properties. I can just say yes, because I don't really know what that do. So I did that, right click. This is what it gives me. I'll just go to top view so you guys can see better. So it has, you can see all, I'll just delete, so you can see it comes with all the numberings. I'll just do undo without the labeling so it's cleaner and we can see what we're dealing with. So unroll, labels no, unroll again. So you can see this is unrolled geometry. If I really make this and fold it, it should fold back to this form. But you can see that there are some issues with it, like some overlaps and some parts that are quite confusing. So you can select this, ungroup, or explode this and move things around. You could also cut your geometry into pieces. So if I explode this, I can get smaller pieces that are so if I get smaller pieces like that, these are probably better, more manageable, and I can have my geometry in a few different pieces like that. I mean, I'm just doing it quickly, but when you do it, you can do it with thinking. So I'll just join it back again. So it's joined as one poly surface. I'm just going to test on this one for now. So I'll do unroll surface again, explode no, labels yes this time just to try. I'll say no. And then this is now the geometry it is giving me. It is still a little bit confusing because there are a few overlaps on it, but if you have done a clean job of cutting your geometry into pieces, then this will be cleaner. So then you will need to export this as an AI file for Illustrator or something and then clean it up. You could also do a quick workflow in the Rhino to get a cleaner geometry out of this. So I'm going to do explode here. Now I've got all my faces separately. So if you have some overlaps, maybe you can deal with them now in this format. There are too many of them, so I won't be able to solve the whole thing right now, but just to give you an idea, you can deal with that. And then you can do a silhouette, and it will give you all the exterior lines, including some duplicates, which you want to get rid of. Then you can, I usually do this in Grasshopper, but I'm sure there's a way to select your duplicates. Awesome, you guys know right now. So dupes, you're right. So dupe, and then delete. Now you don't have any duplicates, thanks to you. So then you can export this as an Illustrator file and just cut this if it was a clean one. You can define these ones as score lines for folding and these ones as cut lines. But that's how you would deal with this in Rhino. Rhino is good because you have a lot of control over it. You can do a lot of Grasshopper things in it, give it tagging, give it all the different definitions you want, and it's all in your hands to control. 123D Make is a lot faster, quicker, but at the end of the day, it's a ready-made product that you don't have some of the specific controls you may want to have. I think at this point, 1, 2, 3D Make may be enough. The good thing about Rhino is that if you're dealing with nerves and curved surfaces, you can unroll them very nicely here and get just a rolling surface. 1, 2, 3D does not understand that. It's just thinking about faceted geometry. So if you're dealing with nerves and curvature, probably give Rhino a test and try that. I'll just